Hey everybody, welcome to Coronavirus Tours with Geoff. Today we're going to talk about Marla Appleton, the founder of Marla's Mulberries, and more famously, the self-proclaimed Princess President of the sovereign nation of Appletonia. Our story begins in 1982. Marla Appleton decides to start a business, and she loves mulberries. It's going to be called Marla's Mulberries, and she's going to sell mulberries, mulberry jam, mulberry pickles, and mulberry fireworks. I think you'll understand why by June of 1982, just months after her business started, it folds. Main problem? She didn't have any mulberries. What she does have is a little bit of an inheritance, enough for her to live the fall and winter of 1982 into 1983. During that time, she reads books, mostly the Transcendentalists, and she really loves Henry David Thoreau, which means she starts to really hate the idea of paying taxes and really love the idea of going out into nature. About a mile outside of town, there's an old quarry that's filled in with water. She decides to move out to the quarry on a little island. Guess what? That's it right there. It used to be twice as big. It's diminished in size since then, but she put a tent up on that island and arranged for once a week for one of her friends to row out with some food, and eventually she asked for a typewriter and some paper. And her other requests? Lottery tickets. We'll get back to that part. She moves out to the island. After a couple weeks out there, her friend finds that she has some paper to give. That paper are diplomatic, I don't know what you would call them, but diplomatic outreach documents that she wants sent to two countries, the Soviet Union and Liechtenstein. She is declaring her island the sovereign nation of Appletonia, and she wants those countries to recognize it. She figures the best way to avoid paying taxes, start your own country, and that way you can make the rules. She declares herself not just the president of Appletonia, but she likes the idea of being the princess as well. That's where you get Marla, the princess president of Appletonia. After a couple months, she actually does hear back from one of the two countries, the Soviet Union. And the Soviet Union says, "Yet, you can't be a sovereign nation because we say so." And Marla, she just holds out. She waits to hear from Liechtenstein. In the meantime, a little thing happens called fall and eventually winter. By the end of September, Marla is cold. She leaves her island, she goes back into town, her money is spent, she doesn't know what she's gonna do. But remember those lottery tickets? She hasn't actually been checking the numbers. There's an unclaimed lottery prize, the biggest one in state history, over $6 million. Guess who won it? Yeah, it was Marla. Marla wins the prize, buys the land around the rock quarry, 1,200 acres, turns it into a beautiful estate on which she builds a house, and Marla just passed away a couple years ago. Always during the interim time, going out of her way to do anything she could to make sure the state didn't get any of her money, which is why everybody was a little bit surprised when her last will and testament was opened. Guess what Marla wanted to do with all the money? She wanted to give Appletonia to the state so that they could start a state park. Appletonia State Park stands to this day, and I'm standing in it right now in honor of Marla Appleton, the Princess President of Appletonia.